Call signs.
Getting excited.
Call sign Viper.
You're right.
What movie?
Tango.
Come on.
Oh.
Call sign Viper.
Top Gun.
Thank you. Jeez, I was worried. Hey there, Ben Beck, Matt Maurizio, back here with the No Bonds podcast, the Beck Bodie No Bonds podcast. It is, what the heck day is it? It's
16th?
16th?
January, halfway there through the month.
That's amazing.
It's awesome.
That's amazing how fast things have gone.
Yeah.
2019 went like that. Thanksgiving to Christmas went like, yeah, right.
Even faster.
Cue the fast nap. And now we're already halfway through January in 2020.
Really good.
2020.
It's awesome.
2020.
All right.
Wait, hold on. We gotta go through our call signs.
Getting excited.
Call sign Viper.
You're right.
What movie?
Tango.
Come on.
Oh.
Call sign Viper.
Top Gun.
Thank you. Jeez, I was worried. I was worried for a second
Talk
there.
to me, Goose. I was thinking, talk to me, Goose. Talk to me, Goose. To get it to me.
If there's I don't know if there's too many movies that are more heavily quoted than Top Gun.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I really do.
That's right, Ice. Man. It's so good. It's so good. That's one of those movies you can watch 15,000 times, pick it up at any point.
Yep.
It's kind of like Goodfellas,
yep.
In a way, and there's a few others like that. Departed for me. You pick it up at any point. I don't care if you watched it every day for the past 14 days, you'd still just sit there and watch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would at least.
Yeah, but in any event,
okay,
we digress. At Beck Bodie on Instagram, I'm at BenBeck3333, at Matt Maurizio. That's easy, Matt Maurizio.
Yep, also my name.
Yeah, also your name. Email us at social@BeckBodie. So, 2020.
Yep.
Very common that everybody starts the New Year's resolutions, right?
Right.
And I'm, folks, it's great. Set goals. We've got objectives. We want to be better at life. One of the mantras here at Beck Bodie is to get better, be better than yesterday.
Yeah, get better every day. Yeah.
Get better every single day. We want to do that as for our clients, but we also, as people, family, fitness, finance, we're trying to get better in all aspects of our life, personally as well as professionally. New Year's resolutions come around for everyone, right? And we set these goals. So we wanted to examine today in particular what some of these resolutions can be around finance.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the resolutions in terms of getting better at your finances, a question that came up is, do you need a financial advisor?
Yeah. Do I even need one? Who needs one?
Yeah.
Does it even make sense with in the age of apps and the robo advisors, and it's so simple to sign up with a Robinhood or an E-Trade or whatever account, and without transaction costs anymore to buy and sell any stocks. Like, do you need anybody? You could just sign up on a robo advisor, put it in an ETF, and just put it on autopilot.
And just for those that don't know, robo advisor, the term Matt's using.
Yep.
Well, let's take a few years of a step back in terms of really when I first got into business, the discount brokerage firm. So back in the day, if you wanted to buy a stock, sell a stock, invest, you really had to go to a stockbroker in order to get that done. And then, and I'm not even quite sure of the time period, but I think it was coincided with the late 90s and the internet.
I think so.
Coming about as more mainstream, where these discount brokerages popped up, where it was more access for individual investors to be able to go, and I think for a lot less of a commission than you would pay a stockbroker.
Yeah.
And then flash forward over a lot of things, but come to today, now you have these really slick platforms online where you can just go and go to a website, enter in a little bit of your information, and literally within 2 minutes have an account opened, have allocation of investments recommended to you, and you click a button and you transfer money from your bank account or wherever, and all of a sudden you're invested.
Yeah, and they're real good. They ask like What are your interests? Do you care about social responsibility? What kind of expectations do you have? Like, they make you actually emotionally engage with them as well as a computer can.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they do a nice job of making you feel like you've put your money in a place that you feel good about.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they set up and design the questions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen them. They're impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So, there's a number of different directions we can go with this type of question. Do you need a financial advisor? And maybe for some folks that answer is no, and for others it's yes. But I'm going to take it from my perspective. And we actually talked about this in the last podcast a little bit.
Okay.
The first thing that comes up in my mind is related to, oh my gosh, hold on a second. We're going to relate this to fitness for a second.
Weird.
Whoa, weird. That never happens. But do you need a personal trainer? Or forget about that. Do you need a gym?
Yeah.
To go get into shape?
Right.
That's an interesting question too, because that makes me think about things like accountability and expertise. And one thing related, those two things related to finance, certainly. But what stands out most in my mind is the word dialogue.
I love that.
Is the necessity, and I'm putting myself in a client's shoes right now because I am a client of our firm.
Right.
And I think I mentioned actually in the last podcast, so I'm not mistaken, how it's really important for me personally with my own finances to be surrounded by the 20 some odd professionals that we have here at Beck Bodie, to have dialogue about how to approach certain financial things in my own life. And in the same way that we have that dialogue every day with clients of ours. Not saying no financial advisor is terrible for everybody, but I can speak for myself and a lot of folks is that one thing that is counter to that is the ability to have a dialogue with somebody that has been in your shoes, perhaps, and can provide insight and expertise to what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, you can't. A computer can't really do that as well.
Right.
I get that people listening might say, "Yeah, of course you're saying that. That's your cell. Like you're a human. Of course you're going to say I can talk and a computer can't." What I can tell you though is that I didn't come from this industry, so I'm like a lot of people that might be listening, trying to learn. Not too long ago, I was an outsider to I wasn't privy to the inside world of investing. But now I'm in it, and I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of conversations every year, really, with people about money. And what talking about money has done for me has dramatically changed my relationship with it. Where prior, money to me was the answer to problems a lot of times. It was a stressor in life. And I'm not saying any of that stuff necessarily all goes away, but my relationship now with money is that it's a tool much more than anything else. I don't feel like overpowered by it. I don't feel a slave to it. I don't have it. I understand that it is something that I can use to better people's lives, better my family's lives, better my life, things like that. It's a tool though, and it's only a result of having conversations with you, other people at the firm, clients that I talk to, prospective clients, just people in general about money. Having that open dialogue, like you said, about it has helped me change my mindset on it, and what changing your mindset on money can do for you really can change your life.
So you manage it, it doesn't manage you.
Yeah, that's a good way to
the
put it.
tool. Yeah,
Completely.
Listening to you talk, it makes me think about like there's companies out there, great companies out there, Vanguard, Fidelity, and others, where these really, really large companies, where the amount of inbound calls they get on a daily basis is in the hundreds of thousands. Now, and these inbound calls are not to necessarily a financial advisor that they have spoken to before. It's customer service rep. Nothing against, I'm not making a judgment on customer service reps or anything like that.
No.
My point in mentioning this is I've always wondered, what is it with respect to individuals like you and me and others, perhaps, that something as serious as your financial circumstances, that folks are willing to call a stranger to have discussions with, versus engaging with a financial advisor over a long period of time. And the only thing I can come up with is as funny as it sounds, is perhaps relationships are complicated.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not reinventing the wheel with that statement there. Obviously, relationships are complicated from time to time. We're all human beings, but having a relationship with someone with something as personal as money,
yeah,
is one of the things that comes up in my mind as perhaps why that is. Why do folks choose not to engage with someone on a more regular basis in the context of relationship, but would opt to either call into a customer service rep to enact investment decisions, or, as we were just talking about a moment ago, go online and don't deal with any human being, and punch in their information, invest their money, and go that route. It's an interesting question.
Yeah, no doubt that that's easier to go online. It's easier to talk to somebody who doesn't know you, because you don't feel like you're letting them behind the curtain in any way, because you'll never talk to them again. Back to that point that you made about you managing your money versus your money managing you. I think a lot of people have their money manage them to some degree, and it's scary to let people see behind that curtain of your life. So it's easier to go online, sign up on a robo advisor, online advisor, call a customer service rep, versus actually let somebody in and talk about that stuff that's hard. So I get that. Doesn't mean it's the right decision, though. I think, actually, I will argue that if you're there, you do need a financial advisor.
Yeah.
Because that's an unhealthy relationship that only a human probably is going to help you get over and get through and change your financial picture. There are people, though, that I will admittedly say you don't need us. Let's say you're earlier in your career, you have no real major life responsibilities, no children, no home, no spouse. You go to work, you live with a few people. Let's say like you're a young professional, you're making a bunch of money, your goal is to grow. So long as you understand how to put money away, then just go do it. You don't need a professional to help you there, as long as you're doing it.
So that's not to say there's no benefit in having a professional there, but in terms of the utmost necessity, so long as you have an idea of, I need to be saving, I need to be putting away for some future objective, and I have, at minimum, a very good idea of how to go about doing that. Forgetting about what investment A versus B or so on. Main idea, of course, is we've always said in this podcast, is your best friend is your runway. So you mentioned young professional. I agree. That's the biggest thing, is that if you have, at minimum, the understanding of what you sort of need to be doing and how and where you need to be doing that, that's important. You said if you're a person that's there, then the odds are that you not there as in terms of the young professional analogy, but before, when you say if you're at that point where you are calling a customer service rep, you're there, you probably do need a financial advisor. In the same way, I think, going back to fitness, if you're making a New Year's resolution, you say, geez, I'd like to lose a few pounds, I'd like to generally get healthier. You're probably there in terms of, hey, you need to go. Not just join a gym, but you need to engage with a professional in fitness and nutrition in order to really make that New Year's resolution any chance of a reality of working towards your objectives. For the expertise, for the dialogue, for certainly with something with diet and fitness, the accountability. I think accountability is the same in finance as well.
Sure, right? It's a discipline, just like eating, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
a lot of parallels.
I often think of this analogy with, like, as it relates to diet, exercise. I have a lot of people say that once I start making my good money, then I'm going to hire a financial advisor.
Right.
And to me, that sounds a lot like in a different language, a different wording. It sounds like once I get healthy, I'm gonna go to a gym. Or once I get skinny, I'm gonna talk to a nutritionist and go on a diet. It doesn't make sense. Like, if you're looking to better your financial life, don't wait till you make a lot of money to try and better it. Get on the right path now, seek help, talk to people, find a professional if that makes sense for you. I think I want to sit here and say, so we started to start the podcast was New Year's resolution, do you need a financial advisor? Who really does? I want to sit here and say everybody does. The reality is, yeah, sure, we feel like we could play a valuable role in people's lives. I get it. Not everybody needs a financial advisor depending on their life stage. But my thought is, if you are nervous about your money and you don't want to talk to a human about it, you should talk to a human about it. That's the time to hire somebody.
Sure.
If you have some major life circumstance happening, you signed a big contract, you sold a company, you had a child, you're changing jobs, you bought a home, things like this, that's a good time to talk to a professional. You might need something that a computer can't offer you. And then lastly, the obvious one, I think, is if you're nearing retirement and you have a 30 years where you're not going to be earning an income, that's probably a time that you're going to have to figure out where to pull money from what account and how that's all going to work and who's going to keep that money sustaining and growing while you're pulling from it. That's an obvious time because we're often pegged as just retirement planners.
Yeah. Rarely does it work out where doing what everybody else is doing though is necessarily the right thing for you, right? It's like
I love it.
I mean, so
that's the truth.
I mean, the my personal thing. It's been like that a long time since I was young. Is the ask why mentality, and that tends to piss people off a lot. Actually, when you take something that is so ingrained in folks in terms of it's second nature to them. It's like, oh well, I'm getting in shape. I'm going to join a gym. Okay. Makes sense. Okay. I've got, today what you need to do is, because everybody else is doing it. I don't know if everybody else is doing it. I don't think they are, but they're going to the robo advisors. Or I put my money in index fund, or I'm going to do this because I hear that everybody else is doing it. You have to, one thing that, going to the gym is not asking why. It's not having that dialogue about, geez, is this, I can sign up for the gym and I can show up and I go machine to machine and I suppose it's better than sitting on the couch. Just like calling into a customer service rep at an investment firm and having your money or through the robo-advisor is certainly better than just sitting in your savings account. But I think just there's no outperformance. There's no tremendous benefit up and above the average to be gained unless you ask why. Unless you at least have a dialogue with somebody that has experience and expertise in understanding what you're trying to accomplish, be it finance, be it the gym. Maybe you should have a dialogue with an actual personal trainer, CrossFitter, that understands what nutrition is all about, what proper exercise and fitness and movement is all about, and really how that could apply to you and in what way. Same thing in finance. Asking that question why and having that dialogue. You can't ask that computer the question, why? So why 27.6% of my assets is going into emerging market healthcare companies?
Right.
Why do I use the Cybex machines at the gym and then do my biceps and triceps? And geez, do I do, the leg day and the same day I do abs or whatever,
Why, yeah.
And without that kind of dialogue, I think it's really hard to see any tremendous benefit.
Yeah, outperformance, you said it earlier.
Outperformance. So that's something that's always been going around in my head from being a youngster, is I always kind of had that, it's not a challenging authority necessarily, but it's geez, I really just don't like taking things at face value.
Yeah.
I see positive things going on for other folks. I want to find out about that, and I want it's not so much about challenging the notion of what's. I just want to understand why, and I think that's just an important question for anybody to ask, no matter if it's finance, fitness, or anything else in your life. Is that have a greater understanding of what you're trying to accomplish and what the best ways are to get there.
I love that. I lived my entire life that way. It's not challenging adversity just to be that guy that bucks the trend for the bucking the trend's sake.
Right.
It's trying to find the best way to be, and then trying to find that path and then get on it.
Yeah.
I mean, just as an athlete, my whole life, you don't chase a dream of playing professional baseball because it's a common path. It's a path where the odds are in your favor. Mm-hmm. It's one that goes with least resistance. Mm-hmm. That's the path that I said, I'm going to go on this. I'm going to figure out the best way to do things. And a lot of the way is doing what everybody else isn't doing, to be totally honest. So usually I would see the average people, and I'd see what they're doing, and I'd say, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know it's not that, because I don't want to be that.
Today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can do what others can't.
Yeah.
I love that quote.
I've heard that as pay the price. Today I'll pay the price today so I can pay any price tomorrow. You ever heard that before?
I haven't, but I like it.
That's what closer to money, our world.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing.
Dude, this was deep today.
It's huge. I love that.
This is really deep.
We finished on a really deep note.
I hope everybody watching, you got emotional. Maybe had some tears in your eyes. Because I think we got deep today. I think we got to something. We got to, that's great. But yeah, that's important. To wrap things up, I think that's important to ask that question. Ask why in so many ways. And again, not to be the dude in the room that just wants to be different from everybody else, but just to gain that great understanding, because at the end of the day, it's about you and your outperformance in all these different aspects in your life, and so you got to open that book, you got to have that dialogue, gain that knowledge of how you get there, how do you get that period of seeing results that perhaps everybody else or the norm is not. Which is important. I
love that.
So enjoyed talking about this today with you, Matt, as always. At Matt Maurizio on Instagram, at BenBeck3333, at Beck Bodie is the company handle. Please continue to email us at social@beckbodie.com. Topics that you'd like to hear about, reactions, reviews. I like that. I didn't like that. Love Matt's hair. Ben doesn't have any hair. Whatever the comments are, those are good ones. But until next week, enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll see you then.